Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture, joined by Phil Chambers from WhatCulture. Hell in a Cell 2021 has just finished, and we are here to tell you what went down. And what went down, Phil, was another really disappointing WWE pay-per-view, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Some not great match finishes, mediocre matches in general, a terrible build. It's just not a great cake to put all those pieces into. Another lackluster, let's say, WWE show. But let's go through it, shall we?
Yeah. I've got a weird mix of emotions after this because, the usual sort of deflation of like, oh, okay, so we're ending the main event Hell in a Cell match with a sodding roll-up following a distraction and what have you. But it's, I was trying to think what I could compare this to, and I always do this whenever I'm about to try and be good and go on a diet and New Year's resolutions and exercise and stuff. I have that day or weekend sometimes where I go I'm going to do the worst possible things now because I won't be able to do them when I'm good again. And it's like WWE are going, well, crowds are coming back and people are getting really excited and we got Money in the Bank and we got SummerSlam and we got all these huge returns planned. So let's just put out all of our worst booking ideas right now. Let's have a possessed Nia Jax slap Reginald across the face because proper fans will come back soon. It's just all the marks watching now. Is that fair?
Yeah, pretty much. Let's get all the roll-ups, let's get all the DQs, let's get all the distractions we can possibly imagine out there while we still can and people won't crap all over it.
Well, anyway, let's talk about what happened on this card then. It started so well. Well, it didn't start so well. It started on the pre-show. We had Natalya versus Mandy Rose with a match straight out of Monday Night Raw. Not a compliment, that. And Natalya won via submission after a really bad sharpshooter for someone who comes out to Bret Hart's music. Anyway, the main card did start so well, though, Phil. We had two Hell in a Cell matches tonight. Both I really enjoyed for very different reasons, but Bianca Belair and Bayley started the show off the SmackDown Women's Championship. Great little match, back and forth. Lots more hair stuff with Bianca Belair getting her hair tied to the ropes, or at one point, just Bayley. It just became a strap match, but with Bianca Belair's hair and all this. She also kind of won a duel against a chair. Bayley was wielding a chair. She just had her hair, and Bayley went, well, we know the whole rock, paper, scissors thing with that. But in the end, it was Bianca Belair who emerged victorious, hitting the KOD onto a ladder. That must have been tough for Bayley to take. But yes, hitting that and, getting the pinfall victory in a really enjoyable opener, I thought. Match of the night by the end of it all.
Yeah, absolutely. Match of the night. Really good finish. I love the KD. The ladder was kind of still open as it landed, so it just kind of crumpled underneath them. It looked really nasty. But yeah, both of them put their all into it. A really aggressive side of Bianca Belair that we've not really seen yet on the main roster. So really, really enjoyed it. They definitely peaked early with this match, and it's 100% the match of the night. And a clean finish as well, which is a lovely thing to have, isn't it, really? But then we move on, and it is Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. And of course, this is a really good match. Those two are very, very, very good professional wrestlers. They've got great chemistry, and when they get in there to just wrestle their asses off, they are really, really good at it. So everything within the match itself was really solid wrestling, everything that you'd expect from these two. However, then you get to the finish because Cesaro was doing the big swing and then he got him into the sharpshooter and then transitioned that down into a crossface. But eventually Seth Rollins got out of all of that and rolled up Cesaro in a kind of cradle pin to get the victory. Seth Rollins beats Cesaro, gone full into 50-50 booking territory and with a roll up. And it's kind of the beginning of the end for this pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly. And I know people will say, well, he got attacked as part of his entrance. I think Cesaro got the better of it despite being jumped as part of his entrance. And Cesaro's got some wins on telly. Literally, I'm fairly certain Seth says we're 50-50 now, or we're one each, or we're even, or whatever it may be. This must continue. You're attempting to protect Cesaro. He lost, but he only lost because he got, cradled or got hit with a small package or whatever. Still lost. Seth doesn't need this. Cesaro really needed it, especially off the back of obviously losing to Roman Reigns. But a lot of these matches, you were just like, right, well, all these people are just going to have to go into Money in the Bank now because it's the only way to potentially redeem themselves.
Yeah.
Talking of redemption, Alexa Bliss, Shayna Baszler. Look, we often talk about this and say this is a divisive storyline. Some people, I see you in the comments, I see you on social media saying you do quite like this, and either you're lying or I just cannot get my head around this. But yes, it was spooky Alexa Bliss against Shayna Baszler, who I assume was the babyface in all this, but also did have Nia Jax and the wine bloke in her corner. And the story of this match, Phil, was don't look in Alexa Bliss's eyes, apparently, because now, inexplicably, we saw it a bit on Raw, but now she can just possess people. There was a bit with like Shayna Baszler like contorting her arm, and obviously Alexa's arm does that just naturally, which looked amazing, to be fair. But Alexa Bliss looked at her and she suddenly went, oh, but let go. And then Reginald was there averting his eyes, but she caught Nia Jax's eye and I'm really sorry, Phil, I almost swore then. It's like the mind thing of like, doing that, but she was like, rah, and then she got Nia Jax to twat Reginald across the face. And then I don't know what was going on in amongst all this. Who cares? She hit the Sister Abigail on Shayna Baszler and pinned her and won and was happy. And I hate the second of it, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it was not good at all. It's even worse that Alexa Bliss had enough time in the match to hypnotize Nia Jax and make her slap Reginald, and Shayna Baszler still didn't have enough time to come back into the match and gain any control in the match at all during any part of that. And then, she got out of the Kirifuda clutch as well to hit her with a Sister Abigail, and then still had time to hit a Twisted Bliss afterwards to just really seal the nail in Shayna Baszler's coffin. Not good stuff. But then we move on to Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, which was, of course, good stuff. Because yet again, just like Cesaro, Seth Rollins, these guys are absolutely fantastic. The history that they've got, they could wrestle every day for a year and it would probably still be entertaining by the end of it. All the way through, Kevin Owens was really selling the injuries from the Nigerian nails that he's been getting hit with on SmackDown. And he was also selling like a shoulder or an arm injury kind of thing all the way through it. So it's like Sami Zayn was kind of fighting a one-armed man throughout the whole thing. And quite incredibly, Sami Zayn got the victory over Kevin Owens by hitting him with a haluva kick. And we got a kind of clean victory for Sami Zayn over Kevin Owens. One of a very few clean victories on this card.
Yeah, mixed emotions about this because, I'd be a bit hypocritical if I didn't say, yet another 50-50ing of a decision that they made at WrestleMania or whatever. Nevertheless, they always kind of get a pass with me because I just love watching Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens compete, especially when they're fighting against each other. I hope Kevin Owens isn't legitimately hurt. A lot of speculation online. He's obviously excellent at selling, so it could just be a brilliant sell job. But he just sort of popped up after Sami Zayn flipped out the ring and fell on him. And as you pointed out, nailed him in the face with his arse. Popped up, selling that shoulder and, was talking to the referee. Obviously sort of played into the match and the finish as well. So who's to know? But yeah, in the end, I really like the callback. Obviously, I mean, Owens was sort of still selling his throat from the moment that we saw him on the entire show. And Sami Zayn kicked him and he fell sort of throat first into the bottom rope. That obviously combined with the Nigerian nail he got on Friday didn't help matters. Haluva kick 1, 2, 3, and Sami Zayn was very happy and boastful to one of the few shining lights on the show, Pat McAfee and Michael Cole in amongst all that. And then we got Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. I don't know how they've messed this up so badly. They haven't done great things with Bianca, Belair and Bayley. It's been laughing as far as I can tell. But at least we got a decent match out of it. This sodding feud rolls on and we have to protect Charlotte. So she wins, but she wins via DQ. So Rhea Ripley, no one came out of this looking good. They brawled. Charlotte Flair was doing. There was just no one was getting cheered, and they can control who gets cheered. Charlotte Flair was teaching her lessons apparently, and then they're brawling on the outside. Charlotte Flair has been doing well. She also tried to use the ropes for leverage at one point, even though Rhea Ripley kicked out. Charlotte Flair's in control. She's I think she just hit natural selection. Rhea Ripley just got out of it in amongst all this, and Charlotte Flair goes after her, and Rhea Ripley just hits her with the wooden bit that goes on top of the table, the plasterboard or whatever it is. DQ, and there's a bit of a back and forth post match with Rhea Ripley saying, "I only did what you would have done," and I just all the air, what was left, came out of me, and I was just like, "Oh God, this has to continue, Phil."
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really bad finish. The fact that you can get through all of this and you still need Rhea Ripley to hit Charlotte with possibly the flimsiest weapon you could possibly hit someone with and still get a DQ as well. And there's a load of weird clunky bits throughout the match as well. Like Charlotte went to do a drop kick onto Rhea onto the steps on the outside, but it looked like she just completely missed Rhea and hit the steps on it, and Rhea sold it like she kicked her. And like there was an odd bit where after Charlotte hit the natural selection, like she went for a pin, but as she was pinning her, she went to put her feet on the ropes, but at the same time Rhea Ripley also kicked out of all of this, so it was all kind of pointless. It was just odd and janky, and then that finish just no need for it whatsoever.
I'd like to point out all the stuff, the weeks and weeks and weeks, if you like me are forced to sit through Monday Night Raw, all the beat the clock stuff didn't feature whatsoever in the promo for this match. And if you want to sit there and say, well, Rhea Ripley did what she had to do because of the knee injury, because of the kick in the steps which are close to her leg or some bollocks, she hit Riptide after the match, so it's fine.
Yeah, so she has to win by DQ by hitting her with a flimsy bit at the table, but yet she still hits her finisher and stands on top at the end. Why couldn't she have just hit her finisher and won? Like, I'd maybe use the ropes. I don't know. It's not good. But anyway, let's move on from that match, because it was then time for the main event, the second Hell in a Cell match of the night. It was Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. And this was a really good match, if not a little bit too long, probably. Mm-hmm. They absolutely beat the crap out of each other throughout the whole thing. There was kendo sticks and chairs and steel steps, shots and everything. Drew McIntyre's back at the end of it looked like it's just absolutely torn apart. Lashley had like a big sort of weird gaping wound on his shoulder. It was absolutely nasty. They absolutely beat the crap out of each other. But it boiled down to the referee got hit by a chair in the middle of it all, which obviously took him out, which was a great ref bump, to be fair. And then he had to get another referee in, but the other referee left the bloody door open, didn't he? So the MVP could get into the ring. And then there was a great bit where Drew McIntyre was going to go after MVP, and he just kind of turns around and the door was shut behind him, so he was kind of locked in with him. And then Drew McIntyre just went to town, beating up MVP. Eventually, though, obviously Bobby Lashley ended up coming in, and then there was some big table bumps, and Bobby Lashley did like a big sort of almost chokeslam type thing to Drew McIntyre by chucking him outside of the ring through a table. And then, the ball boiled down. Eventually, Drew McIntyre was going to go hit the Claymore. At the end, it looked like he had it all wrapped up, but then MVP grabbed his leg, because obviously he was still at ringside, and that distracted Drew McIntyre. And then Bobby Lashley rolled up Drew McIntyre to get the victory by holding the tights. He didn't come in with a spear because he was distracted and hit him with his big finish. He rolled him up and grabbed the tights.
Yeah, a really deflating end to a dreadful pay-per-view for me. Like you say, we watched it in the replay, and it's like you couldn't have had him, like you say, hit a spear or hit him with a weapon, or hold on to the ropes as well as holding onto the tights, or MVP holds onto him to hold him down. I don't know. It just seems so. And I get it. It's, any means necessary, because this was his last chance, and that's it. And it was just such a disappointing conclusion to a really disappointing pay-per-view. Yeah.
They managed to make Bobby Lashley look very weak throughout it as well, because Drew McIntyre managed to get 2 visual pinfalls on Bobby Lashley when the referee was down. Like, he hit him with a Claymore and he hit something else, and it was like very obvious.
Future shock DDT.
Future shock DDT. It was very obvious that he'd got some visual pinfalls over him, and yet he still needed the cheeky roll-up thing at the end of it. You couldn't have just made Bobby Lashley look a little bit strong.
Yeah, he murdered The Miz. The big question I want to know, Phil, is what was that hand from underneath the ring? Do you remember seeing that bit on social media already? When they went through one of the tables, the hand came out from underneath the ring to, like, I don't know, give a helping hand, I suppose.
I guess.
But I did feel a bit sorry for all the people going, oh, here we go, we're getting a Brock party at the end of this. I was like, no, we're not.
Oh,
anyone who's hoping for big returns on Hell in a Cell would be mightily disappointed, along with this god-awful show. But the only thing I can think, and this is just the eternal optimist in me, this is the Simon Miller side of my personality going, well, now they've got all of that crap out of the way, maybe we can focus on the good stuff, because we're, 4 weeks away from Money in the Bank with fans, and that's the start of the road to SummerSlam, basically, and big returns and what have you. Just a really, really depressing reminder of, the Thunderdome era pay-per-views and and it was like, not only are they getting Hell in a Cell out of the way, because fans can't see that, we'll also get rid of all the bad booking decisions we've just got left in this drawer, and yet it's all going to sort of continue on. Like, if you're going to watch Monday Night Raw, and we have to, you've got the continuation of Charlotte and Rhea, and Drew McIntyre is going to have to be a moaning Scottish bastard because he's lost, and all the stuff with Alexa Bliss. I get it, some people like it. I don't. Yeah. Phil doesn't, and a lot of people in our comments weren't exactly huge fans of Spooky Bollocks, and we didn't even get the return of Lily. So, there we go. Do let us know your thoughts, though. Disappointing overall, Phil.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of drenched in WWE used way too much tropes, full of DQs, distractions, roll-ups, and 50-50 booking all over the place. But at least it had Bianca versus Bayley, which was definitely the highlight.
Yeah. One saving grace on this show.
Every Cloudy.
Said Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre, for that disappointing finish to one side, they beat the crap out of each other. So fair play.
They absolutely did.
Not that is a prerequisite for a good match, but it was just, I wanted to give a nod to the amazing effort they put in for that. But let us know your thoughts on Hell in a Cell and where we go from here in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on either iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts dealing with all the fallout from this. Plus, let us know your thoughts and Twitter questions for the guys doing the news in a few hours' time at What Culture WWE on Twitter. Watch there, you can follow both of us. You can follow Phil Chambers at
Fill My Chambers, and you can follow Adam Wilborn at
Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at What Culture WWE. But for now, this has been what went down at Hell in a Cell. My thanks to Phil Chambers. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.